don't use that. My name's Casey O'Shaughnessy. I'm a senior agent at Select Music. We're one of Australia's largest independent agencies, look after over 100 artists. I look after Amy Shark, Stella Donnelly, the Veronicas, the Chats, Skeggs, Ruby Fields, Kian, and a whole bunch more. What excites me with a live act or an act that I want to book is firstly just the songs. So the songs are the most important thing. I'll always make sure I go and see an artist before I start booking them live. And even if it's in really early days, you can normally see the potential pretty clearly from what it is at that time to what it potentially could be in the future. The potential that I can see in an artist in the early stages is stage presence, how they sort of carry themselves, confidence. A lot of the time when I'm talking to them, hearing what their plans are and what their vision is for the project. Again, yeah, what the music sounds like, how many songs stick in my head after the show. In the really early days of being a band, my best advice would be to find at least 20 minutes of material that you feel really comfortable performing on stage and practice that to death. And then when you feel confident with that sort of 20 minutes, start going out and trying to find yourself gigs, find your community, start to sort of team up with other bands that are maybe in a similar space to you and put shows on in small venues there. And build that fan base really slowly and steadily. But during COVID, I definitely think it's a lot harder than it would be to start to build that community naturally. Focus online. So start to reach out to your fans directly and start to plan for the future with small shows that you know that you can do in the current capacity and the current climate. In the early days, I don't think there's too much, there's no such thing as overplaying. In the early days, I would just take all of your experience you get on stage and start to really hone your craft, become really confident with your live set. And once you start to pick up momentum and once you start to build a fan base, then you can start to be more selective with what you do and why you do it, and make sure that with every show there's a purpose to that show. So whether the purpose would be that you're playing with another band and you're hoping to find some new fans at that show, or whether the purpose is that you're trying to raise funds to record your next single, just always make sure there's a reason to be playing the show. I think when someone presents an exclusivity term with you, it's always negotiable. An exclusivity clause, it might look something like you can't play within 50 kilometres of the same area 2 weeks beforehand or 2 weeks afterwards. I think when someone presents an exclusivity term with you, it's always negotiable. So always have that conversation, start telling people what you've got coming up. Obviously, I would say don't play every single night for the sake of doing it. But that's where the strategy starts to come in, I guess, and you pick the key shows and you maybe pass on the shows that don't make as much sense to you, and there is power in saying no, even if you're an early band. Regional touring is really important. In the early days, I would say don't go to places that you don't know you have an audience yet. So it might be better to start going to regional towns, perhaps with a band that's from the area locally, or you sort of wait and start to cultivate your hometown first, and then keep an eye on your socials. So if you've got people starting to follow you and you notice they're from Wollongong, or you notice your Spotify might start to have plays from Wollongong area, perhaps then you start to visit that area on your next tour coming up. There's a whole world inside of your state that potentially you haven't gone to before, so make the most of that. I don't think there is one hard and fast rule about the way that you should bring your team together. When to bring a booking agent into the picture is really different for each artist. It might be that you started to pick up a lot of heat on a song on streaming services or on local radio or on Triple J. It might be that you've started to get so many inquiries that you can't manage your inbox anymore and you need some help on the strategy side of things. But at the end of the day, a booking agent is a salesperson, so there has to be a reason there for having someone to come on and to actually sell you as an artist. But anything that someone brings you that you have to sign, any kind of contract, whether it's a record label or a management agreement or a publishing agreement, my advice would be your best bet for first team member is always a lawyer. Please, artists.